Hello, everybody. What's up? How you doing? Happy Kwanzaa, Habari Gani. Today's Kwanzaa principle is Nia, which is purpose. And I am Gina Page, co-founder and president of AfricanAncestry.com, coming to you today on this, the fifth day of Kwanzaa, to talk about purpose and Nia, and we're doing it with our friends over at Friends of the Congo. So I'm looking forward to a spirited conversation with Maurice Carney, who is the executive director of Friends of the Congo. We're going to be talking about that. So you're all welcome to join us. Come on in and feel free to put any questions in the comments that you have, and we'll get Maurice to answer those questions for us. Or if you have questions for African Ancestry, we'd love to hear from you. So like I said, today is the fifth day of Kwanzaa, which is Nia. And the principle of Nia is surrounding purpose. And I actually heard Dr. Malana Karanga speak on last Friday during Kwanzaa. And he said for Nia that the wise are known for their wisdom and the great are known by their good deeds. And so I thought it was a fitting day to have Maurice with us because he is wise and he is doing some very good, very important work. So I'm going to bring him up here. Hey, Maurice, how you doing?
Good. Yourself?
I'm great. Welcome to African Ancestry Live. Habari Gani.
Nia.
Habari Gani. I am really glad to be talking to you. We've been talking about doing this, and we've been figuring out ways that we can partner. And so I'm really glad that we are here and now. Shout out to Nona Richardson and also to Ewanike for making the connection between African Ancestry and Friends of the Congo, between me and you.
Yes.
So there's so many things that I want to talk to you about today as it concerns the Congo. First of all, can you define the Congo? Because I think for some people, it just feels like, I don't know, some big nebulous space. What exactly is the Congo? I know there's a Democratic Republic of the Congo. There's a Republic of the Congo. I know that other parts of the region are involved. So let's start there. What is the Congo?
Yeah, the Congo is the heart of Africa, right? The Congo is a culture, it's a civilization at the same time. As a political entity, there are two Congos, right? You have the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which was created by Europeans. Almost all African countries in their current political form were created by Europeans. And the Democratic Republic of Congo is created by Europeans coming out of the Berlin Conference, 1884, 1885, which was also called the Congo Conference, where Congo was given to King Leopold II of Belgium as his own private property, right? He owned it outright. The smaller Congo was colonized by the French. They hired an Italian explorer by the name of Savignon de Brazza. And Savignon de Brazza carved out the Congo Republic, what they call Congo Brazzaville, for the French. I think it's probably the only and one of the few African countries to still retain the capital, the name of the capital of the European explorer that discovered it. Brazzaville is named after Savignon de Brazza, this Italian explorer. So that's and the two are separated by just the Congo River, right? But they inhabit the space of the heart of the Congo Empire, which stretched from modern-day Gabon all the way down to Angola, a space that covers the heart of the African continent, a space from which almost half of the Africans that we find in the Americas, right, were trafficked by European powers. from the early 1500s right up to the 1800s. So that's how we say when we talk about Congo, we use the K, we're talking about the heart of the African continent. And the heart of the African continent was gutted by Europeans, according to Emory University and their slave voyages database. 4 out of 10 Africans that were trafficked to the Americas came out of that Congo empire in the heart of Africa. And so you have Congo civilization, basically, stretching from North America right down to South America. So Congo is us, right? Congo is central to that 500-year Mahafa that our beautiful sister Marimba Ani talks about, right? If you're going to talk about the tragedy of African people over the past 500 years, you cannot talk about it without talking about the Congo, from Congo Empire right to the present. And really, the major pivotal periods of that 500-year tragedy, we see the heart of Africa being central, gutted by Europeans in order to power their slave industry, the burgeoning infancy periods of capitalism, on the plantations in the Americas. Mm-hmm. And then when that extractive process of human beings was then shifted in concert with capitalism, because we see in the late 1800s, the industrialization of capitalism, then the Congo was targeted again. Its rubber was needed to power Western industries in the late 1800s, particularly the auto industry, right? And the early 1900s, bicycle, auto industry. And then as we see technological advances, the United States developing the atomic weapons that it ultimately dropped on Japan, it needed Congo again, right? The uranium that was needed for the Manhattan Project came out of the Congo, overwhelming majority. Some came out of Canada, but most out of the Congo. And then we come right forward to the modern day, where at the advent of the technological revolution, the cell phone and the internet, we see Congo being center again, where the coltan, columbite tantalite, the capacitors that come out of it once it's refined, is needed to power our cell phones, to power our laptops. There's one senator, Sam Brownback, he said that every American has at least one device in which coltan is found. And then as we get into the dawn of the 21st century, and we see the green energy industry being put forward as an alternative to fossil fuels, and we need our electric cars and rechargeable batteries, and need to make so-called green or clean energy transition. Congo is front and center again with its cobalt, which is a different type of mineral. Cobalt is central ingredient in rechargeable batteries. If you look at the Congo, it produces 70% of the world's cobalt. So if you add up all of the countries in the world that produce cobalt, they don't equal what Congo produces. So this green energy transition, the power rechargeable batteries for our automobiles and our laptops and our cell phones and all, couldn't happen without Congo's minerals. Now, at the same time, while we see these advances being made and the extractive process pulling those resources out of Congo, the Congolese people have paid a deadly price. 1885 to 1908, estimated 10 million people perished as the king extracted rubber to power, the industries in the West, the auto industry in particular. 1996 to the present, estimated 6 million Congolese people have perished, in large part because of a resource war to get access to those resources to power modern technologies. So we're Friends of the Congo are saying we need to disrupt this system, this extractive system, where we in the West and the rest of the world benefit at the expense of Congolese women, hundreds of thousands being raped, Congolese children, half of the 6 million dead in Congo since 1996 are children under the age of 5. The cobalt that's needed to power our devices. You have 40,000 children trapped in the mines as child labor. So that's, when we say Congo, that's how central Congo is on that one side dealing with a tragedy. There's another side dealing with the potential of the Congo. We're talking about arguably the richest country in the world, estimated $24 trillion worth of wealth, according to economists. That's about the equivalent of the gross domestic product of the United States. Strategically located in the heart of the African continent, 9 countries bordering it. No other country has that many countries bordering it. So as Congo moves, so does the rest of Africa. Thabo Mbeki, former South African president, probably said it best. He said, there is no new Africa without a new Congo, right? No new Africa without a new Congo. So it's central, and it's a country the size of Western Europe, the heart of the African continent, the fulcrum in which the African continent swings. It's vital to 2 key industries, not only for the West, but the world. Key phenomena, and in any case, it's vital in combating the climate crisis, right? Because within the heart of the African continent, we find the Congo Basin rainforest. It's the 2nd largest rainforest in the world, often referred to as the 2nd lung of the world, behind the Amazon. However, it sequesters more carbon than all of the tropical rainforests combined, right? And home to the largest tropical peatlands. Peatlands is an area in the Congo Basin the size of England that's got carbon trapped in its soil. And if that carbon is released into the atmosphere, it can produce up to about 20 years of the pollution that we see coming from burning of fossil fuels in the United States. So preserving it is just so critical, right? So on that one hand, combating the climate crisis, indispensable when we talk about the Congo. Facilitating the green energy transition, which I just talked about, it just doesn't happen without the Congo. So it harkens up on Frantz Fanon's statement about the Congo. I'm sure he didn't mean it the way it has turned out to be, but he was accurate. He said, let us not forget, the fate of all of us is at stake in the Congo, right? And Fanon said that within a Pan-Africanist framework, in that coming out of independence, the African leaders, the Nkrumahs of Ghana, the Tourés of Guinea, the Modibo Keitas of Mali, they saw Congo as central to their project of the United States of Africa, right? To the point where Nkrumah even, he wrote about 14 books or so. He even wrote a book specifically about the Congo called The Challenge of the Congo, where he saw Congo being the capital of the United States of Africa that would power the industrialization of the African continent. So as it relates to the tragedy, Congo is central. As it relates to the potential and our future, as identified by independence heroes, Congo is also central. So that's where we say today that why Congo matters because Africa matters, because the global African family matters. And there is no new Africa, there's no new African, global African family without Congo being made whole, being restored. And that is to say, without the Congolese and Africans controlling the land, controlling the wealth, controlling the resources, controlling the affairs of the heart of the African continent for the benefit of Africa and for the benefit of the African world. So that's why Congo.
Yeah. And there have historically, when efforts have been made to free Congo from within, they've been decimated, completely destroyed.
Absolutely.
So what's happening now? What I know there are several movements within the country itself, but what do you see as the future in terms of self-determination, Kujichagulia for Congo?
Yes. What's happening now that we are a part of is a movement throughout the Congo called Basanja. That's Basandja. The Basanja movement is a movement of grassroots indigenous Congolese who are a part of a coalition that are organizing to control their local affairs, right? To control their local affairs in a way that they can be strengthened locally and as a coalition to ultimately control what happens to the Congo, control the future of the country. And these coalition, this Basanja coalition, covers about 10% of the country right now. reach about an estimated 2 million people, are located in each quadrant of the country, the north, the south, the east, and the west, and they are growing the movement. Now, as you said, that, Congo, everybody wants a piece of Congo, and every time Congo tries to assert itself, folks, global powers come in and crush those movements, and most notably, Patrice Lumumba, right? One of Congo's independence hero, and his first democratically elected prime minister. He formed a political party in 1958 called the Congolese National Movement. And at the founding of the party, he said, comrades, we're here for one purpose only, a free Congo, right? And he articulated that in so many ways, in speeches and writings and books. He laid it out, he even visited the United States to engage, Africans here, right here in Washington, D.C. and New York. And he was so resolute to the idea of a free and liberated Congo, the purpose of a free and liberated Africa, that Malcolm said of him, he was the greatest African to ever walk the continent. Malcolm said this of him because he couldn't be corrupted. He said he loved his people so much. He loved Africa so much, the imperialists couldn't reach him. So they had to overthrow him. The United States mounted the largest covert action in the world, Gina, at the time, to get rid of Lumumba, to overthrow him and ultimately assassinate him. So,
and which year was that?
And they overthrew him in 1930, right? And he was assassinated on they overthrew him he was inaugurated June 30, 1960. June 30, 1960 he was inaugurated. Within a matter of weeks, he was overthrown. And by January 17, 1961, less than 7 months, he was assassinated, right? And this hurt people. It was a painful blow for people all around the world, because once they found out he was assassinated, once folks around the world found out he was assassinated, this was in February of 1961, you had demonstrations all around the world because people knew about Lumumba, knew that he was the rightful leader of the Congo, democratically elected, and the imperialists overthrew him. Right here in New York City, you had Maya Angelou, Max Roach, Abby Lincoln, right? Paul Robeson Jr., they all stormed the United Nations building when they heard of his assassination, because they know the UN had a role to play in his assassination. In fact, there's a remarkable film out now that documents that really well, entitled Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. So if any of you would, want to get a sense of what that was like, that era with the musicians and Lumumba and all, that's an excellent film to check out. But so Lumumba was overthrown because he wanted Congo to be, the wealth of the Congo to be in the hands of Congolese and of Africans, and to be utilized for the benefit of Congolese in particular, and the benefit of Africans in general. So this movement is that's burgeoning in the Congo at the grassroots level, is coming in that tradition. And speaking of Lumumba, wrote a lot. One letter he wrote to his wife Pauline in December of 1960, before he was assassinated, his last letter. And he said to the Congolese people in that letter, he said, "We're not alone. Africa, Asia, free and liberated people from every corner of the world will always be found by the side of the Congolese." So that's the appeal that we're making today to folks, to be found by the side of the Congolese, to join the movement. We're in solidarity with the Congolese as they pursue control of their country and control of the spectacular wealth that's found therein, for the benefit of the sons and the daughters of Congo and for Africa. So that's where we come in. We're mobilizing people to be a part of this movement in the spirit of Lumumba, to be found by the side of the Congolese. And there are a host of ways that folks can be found. That was
going to be my question, because folks aren't giving up their cell phones, they're not giving up their cars, and as you said, there's no expectation of that. What are some of the things that we can do when we go to freecongo.org and we see what's possible? What are just a few of the things that
A few of the things, and there are a host of them, and I'm just going to give you 3 things that you can do, right? In addition to donating, you can donate, and people know you can always donate. You can do that at freecongo.org. But what you're doing, Gina, right now, right? Providing a platform for people to know about what's happening in the Congo, know how they can get involved. So if you have a platform, right? If you're a blogger, if you're a writer, you were just shown on the screen before we got in the Essence magazine article on the Congo. This a sister, Akila Sailor, she reached out to a brilliant writer from Essence, and she said, "I want to use my talent, right, to do something about this Free Congo movement." So she's a writer. She has a connection to Essence, right? So she wrote this beautiful article, "The Mamas Shoot Back. Congolese women are recapturing their visual narratives in the fight for liberation." Fight for liberation entails telling your own story, right? Decolonizing the African mind and telling the story from your perspective. So Akila, does a remarkable job in doing that. So one, using your platform as a writer. We have some beautiful young musicians at Howard and different parts of the U.S. who are using their hip hop, and I wish we had that up there too.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
We're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Right? So the young, they're organized by the Black Lives Matters lab, where they reached out to us and said, we want to help, we want to use our talents, our platform to assist. So that's happening across the board with Akila, all the young people doing the rap and you name it. So that's really easy. Just think about anything that you do. We have this beautiful sister in Los Angeles runs a William Grant Still Center in Los Angeles. So she's going to do the whole spring on Congo culture, music, art, dance, you name it. So we're going to collaborate with them in the city of Los Angeles to promote Congo culture. So that's one. Two, invite us into your community, your faith institution. If you have a student that goes to a university, a son or a daughter that goes to university, tell them to invite us to their campus. Invite us to a faith, if you're part of a faith institution, a club, for us to come in and speak either in person or virtually. We'll come in and share with you what's happening and how you can get involved. And finally, which is a combination of 1 and 2, provide us access to your networks, right? If you know people with means, if you know people with resources that can be brought to the table to support this Free Congo movement, we encourage you to do that, right? So those are 3 real simple actions that people can take. In terms
I was going to say they're very. Go ahead. I was going to say I was going to recap them exactly. They're very very easy. So,
yes, because we're asking you to do what you're already doing, but just provide space for us to come in.
Invite Friends of the Congo in to speak to your organization, and then help spread the word through networks.
Provide access to your network.
Yeah.
And in doing all of that, if you have any ideas, if you have any recommendations, any suggestions, bring it to the table. And I'm not saying this lightly, right? I'll give you an example. We have a film entitled Crisis in the Congo, Uncovering the Truth. Right? We did the film in 2011. The idea of the film didn't come from us. Right? We had some filmmakers from Hollywood, camera people and stuff, and they said they want to do something. And they came and they said, we want to do a film. And they brought all of their resources to the table to do a film. They said, you write the script, you tell us who to interview, and we're going to do it. And to this day, Crisis in Congo, Uncovering the Truth, 13 years later, still so very much relevant in getting an idea, in educating people, informing people about the sweep of history in the Congo and why Congo is where it is today. So these were filmmakers that brought their ideas to the film. Another example, there's these young people, these Gen Zs and the millennials and folks, they're on TikTok, on this social media. I'm not even on TikTok. So this one sister reached out to her. She's like, I want to do some, fundraising for Friends of the Congo. And I'm going to do it using my music and streams. People download my streams and the funds that come from them downloading the streams to go to Friends of the Congo. She raised like $40,000 for organizations in the Congo. I had no idea this is a way you could raise funds, right? So whether it was filmmaking, it's a fundraising, people are bringing their ideas to the table, knowing that the challenge that Congo faces, and they want to do something. So instead of saying I'm going to give up my phone, I'm going to use my phone to organize, to support the movement in the Congo. So ideas, bringing your ideas, to the table and sharing them with us, collaborating with us, that's been one of the most powerful drivers of this Free Congo movement.
Yeah, someone here has said, here it is, Victoria Harris, I thank God for you both helping us, your people. And I actually read it. I didn't read it through an African ancestry lens. So I was going to say, but thank you, Victoria. But I feel that exact same way about Friends of the Congo. I was just saying to a friend this morning, it's not the act of just being Black, difficult. It's not easy just to be Black. And I say that because we all have differing levels of consciousness. And if you have one level of consciousness and in your work, you're operating at a certain level of consciousness, but then people around you, or there are others that you interact with who don't have the same level of consciousness, it can be work just to explain the importance of being who you are. And none of this work is easy. So when I started off with that quote from Dr. Karenga that, hold on, let me find it now, that he said for Nia, that the wise are known by their wisdom, but the great are known by their good deeds. This work is good deeds, good deeds. And it's a great work. And I'm so thankful that I met Ewanike, and of course I've known Nona since we were little girls.
Oh, wow, okay.
We went to elementary school together. Shout out to you again, Nona.
Yes, for real.
But that was networking. That was sharing, figuring out how to use our two platforms to raise awareness for what's critically important for us as people, as African people.
Absolutely.
So I just, man, you have all of my respect, because I cannot imagine half of what you have to deal with in advocating for the heart of Africa. We should not
my goodness,
for the heart of Africa.
No, but in your saying that, right? You have to, Akila Sellers, right, in her article, she said something so powerful about storytelling, right? And those mamas that she writes about, these are mamas who've been displaced by war. They're in displacement camps in horrendous conditions, right? Like living in bestial conditions. I was there this summer, Gina, in the camps, and it's hard for you to describe it. Yeah. But yet almost like that dung beetle, right? That comedic dung beetle that in the midst of feces is pushing that ball out and, just creating, something new out of, filth. These mamas are doing that, where they've lost everything, and they're taking the picture, they're telling their own story through taking pictures, which is such a powerful way, because they're often filmed, right?
Right.
And pictures taken of, so they're objects, but now they're the subject, right? So when we, that's a form of decolonizing the story. And as we know, the conventional story that's pushed out, not only about the Congo, but Africa, is the dark continent, right? And Congo is the heart of darkness, according to Joseph Conrad, right, in his own novel, right? So people, when they hear anything about it, black and white alike, it's like, okay, I don't want to deal with anything to do with it, just like there's a lot of killing going on. It's the heart of darkness. That's just doesn't have anything to do with me. So that's really the colonial legacy, right, of the prism through which we see Africa, through which we see Congo, and really which we see ourselves, right? Because Malcolm talked about it. You cannot hate, the tree and not hate the root, right? The apple, so that breaking down that colonial prism has been the most challenging part. And when you get into the Congo and you see it's not even just the resources and the wealth, but the Banja Coalition that we're working with inside the country. Banja is a Topoke word, right? And it comes from indigenous knowledge and wisdom, right? That says that it's a code of ethic where it informs the community that we must, as human beings, live in harmony with all living entities, right? Not to dominate, but in harmony. And it's that principle that's driving the Banja Coalition, and it's that principle that's actually needed today to save the planet, because we see the ethics and the mores and the practices that has driven the planet to destruction, right? Yeah. Where you dominate, where you rape, where you extract, right? By any means, at the expense of the environment, at all costs, right? Yeah. At all costs. So the organizers are saying that we're not just talking, Congo, we look at it in terms of its resources, but we're talking about a philosophical transformation as well. We're talking about ideas and principles that come out of this space where people say it's the heart of darkness. And we're saying, no, it's the heart of light. This is where humanity, this is a source of humanity, right? Where you go right back. This is what the Kemetis talked about. We come from the foothills of the mountain of Hapi, right? In the heart of the African continent, right? Talks about those Twa people, the people who are, small in stature, right? So there's just, Dr. Charles Finch gets into it in his recent book, but there's just so much. If we see that we can go there and draw knowledge, and there's light there, there's information that's embedded in the plants, embedded, in the animals, embedded in all living entities. And these women that took the photography class, they're part of that decolonizing process where they're taught ancestral ecology and agro-liberation. To say that, the knowledge is found right here in the soil of the Congo, and we just have to draw from it in order for it to power us to lead us to a path to liberation, right? It's almost like that Sankofa bird. It's almost like Amilcar Cabral talking about return to the source. So these women are being taught to return to the source and draw strength from there to power them in this movement for a free Congo.
The other thing they're being taught, which stuck out to me, was they're being taught to remember who they are and to change the narrative of their identities. And you kind of touched on that. You're living in these situations, but this is not who you are.
Exactly.
They talked about in the article how, everyday objects that are critical to their livelihood, their everyday living, they're starting to look at those differently and reframing. Not just learning from the land, but reframing who they are, which again is a form of light. In very difficult isn't even the right word.
Right. Extremely horrific conditions.
So that initiative, that the Mama Yole project, to me speaks loudly on many different levels, and I was glad to see that. And it just goes to show, if you're a photographer, you can make a difference.
Absolutely.
If you are a musician, you can make a difference.
Speaking of musicians, oh my goodness, I got to give a shout out. I can't even. I'm gonna mess up not mentioning all of them, like Ayana Gregory, Free, Benjamin, and Navasha Day, and just Sweet Honey on the Rock, just all Wayna, all of these sisters came together as artists right here in Washington D.C. on October 25th.
Was that during your Free Congo Week?
That was during Congo Week. That's a part of Congo Week, right? Yeah. And they brought their talents together to basically perform and give an ode to the women of the Congo, where it was sold out. We were down there in the Southwest at Westminster Church. We partnered with WPFW, and it was really the brainchild of Katia Stitt, just
Mhm.
that's another example. I cannot forget WPFW.
You could be a program director. It
A
doesn't
program director, a radio
matter.
station. I mean, Katia, she just goes hard for the Congo. So here it is, Katia Stitt, WPFW, hooking it up with our sister, Ayana Gregory, the amazing daughter of Dick Gregory, coming together, and they brought all of these amazing women together. Anna Malago, they brought Deja Bell, they just brought all of these amazing sisters together in support of the Congo, right? And so it's just incredible what we can do once we're enrolled and once we're aware. And that's just yet another example of what people can do. Ayana and Katia are just classic examples of how we can collaborate, right, to be in support of the Free Congo movement, in support of women. They rallied the funds that they raised went to WPFW, so support the local institution, because we have to support our local institutions, right? And WPFW is like frontline for that, and then also support our global movement, which they did with the women in the Congo. So they're just a host of examples, Gina, where people can see what to do. So if you want to find out what to do, just look around you, just see all the things that's our brothers and sisters are doing right here in DC, to support the Congo movement.
And so for those of you who are now, after you've gone to freecongo.org and made a donation, and they take donations in the form of PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Look, they got all the platforms so that you can make a donation. And Giving Tuesday was last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago. But
it started in December.
Giving season. So I'm really encouraging each of you to go to freecongo.org. You've heard the situation, you've heard the history, you've heard what people are doing on the ground to make a difference. You've heard what Friends of the Congo, some of what Friends of the Congo are doing. We've given you examples of what your neighbors and friends and colleagues are doing. So we don't have any excuses. Today is Nia. Nia means purpose. And it is our purpose to help the collective African community to thrive and grow. Absolutely. And the Congo needs us. The Congo needs us, and freecongo.org is a vehicle that we have, that we know and trust. It's tried and true. We've been around since 2004, if I'm not
over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
Formally.
So listen, there are no excuses. You got a laptop by you. You can flip over on your phone and go to freecongo.org to contribute. And let's lift up light. Let's lift up light for the heart.
Light in the heart, coming from the heart of Africa.
Light coming from the heart of Africa.
Grounded in the principles of Banja.
We've given you documentaries to watch. We've given you articles to read. You can look through the comments and see the URLs for these things. Shout out to Dawn Bellstone. I don't know if she's on your team, but she's on it. Dawn, thank you for being the scribe and putting all the links and everything in there. I really appreciate it. I'm not going to keep you all day, Maurice. We have a lot more to talk about in terms of
yes. This is just the start, right? This is just the start. There's a journey ahead for us.
Exactly. And we're ready. We're ready to take the journey with you. Everybody, beautiful. I want to thank you is there anything else you want to say, Maurice, before
just a thank you. Thank you, Gina, for providing a platform, African ancestry. This is just the beginning, and look forward to building with you. Thank you folks in your followers for supporting us, and just go to freecongo.org. Join the movement.
Nice. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Continue to lift up the principles of Kwanzaa, not just this week. We got 2 more days of Kwanzaa, but every day.
And Google Saba 24/7, 365.
all the time. And
Induzo Saba, all the time.
exactly. Until we meet again, everyone, may you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be whole. Have a very good evening. Take care.